Are you ready to embark on this thrilling journey into the world of cryptocurrency? In today's exciting episode of Crypto Chronicles, we're going to unravel all the major developments that are stirring up the crypto space. From BlackRock's fresh Bitcoin ETF application to the European Union's innovative regulations for tracing crypto asset transfers, there's a ton to cover. In the lightning-fast world of digital currency, single day can seem like an entire year. Hence, our mission is to keep you updated, informed, and ahead of the game. We'll deconstruct the complexities, provide you with the facts, the analysis, and also the global of these game-changing events. So gear up, secure your digital wallets, and join us on this expedition through the constantly evolving crypto sphere. Stay tuned, because you won't want to miss what's coming up next. The latest buzz from the cryptocurrency industry revolves around BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, and its renewed application for a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, ETF, with the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. BlackRock, a name that carries an enviable reputation in the world of finance, has decided to dip its toes once more into the unpredictable yet intriguing world of cryptocurrency trading. This time, the global asset manager is focusing its energies on securing the approval of a Bitcoin ETF. This revelation has caused ripples across the industry, signaling BlackRock's confidence in the long-term viability of digital currencies. The renewed application comes at a time when cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, are experiencing unparalleled popularity. The application is seen as a substantial step towards the mainstream acceptance of cryptocurrencies. An approval could potentially open the floodgates for institutional investors to dive into the Bitcoin market. However, the path to approval is not smooth. The SEC has previously deemed BlackRock and Fidelity's applications as inadequate. The regulatory body cited concerns over the lack of comprehensive measures to prevent fraud and manipulation in the market, potentially delaying the approval process by at least another week. The road to success is paved with challenges, but it is these hurdles add an element of suspense and uncertainty. This situation indeed adds more suspense to the already intriguing world of crypto trading. It sparks an air of anticipation across the finance industry, making us wonder if this could be a game-changer in the realm of digital currency. The European Union has implemented new rules for tracing transfers in the crypto assets space. This development from the EU, a powerful governing body encompassing 27 member states, represents a significant and transformative step in the evolving world of digital currency. The rules touched upon are specifically designed to track and trace the movement of crypto assets, essentially all forms of cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and countless others. The decision to implement these rules is not an arbitrary one. Rather, it is a strategic move that aims to address and rectify a considerable loophole in the existing anti-money laundering (AML) framework. Cryptocurrencies, due to their anonymous nature, have long been exploited for money laundering and other illicit activities. Therefore, the EU's decision to tighten the reins is a crucial step towards minimizing these fraudulent activities. Additionally, the EU has taken a leap forward by proactively introducing an ambitious travel rule legislation. This legislation is expected to streamline the process of verifying the identity of individuals involved in crypto transactions, thereby enhancing transparency and accountability. Arguably, these changes could potentially revolutionize the way transactions are conducted in the crypto space. By enforcing stricter oversight and regulations, the EU is proactively promoting a safer and more transparent industry. This increased level of transparency and security is not only beneficial for governments and financial institutions, but also for the users of these digital currencies. In essence, these developments could potentially reshape the way transactions are conducted in the crypto space, adding transparency and security to the industry. The esteemed Attorney General James has proposed what are potentially nation-leading regulations on the ever-evolving space of cryptocurrency, with the primary intent being to safeguard the interests of New York investors. Cryptocurrency, a digital or virtual form of currency that utilizes cryptography for security, has carved a niche for itself in today's technologically driven world. These proposed regulations showcase a determined effort, the same level of scrutiny, rules, and oversight that traditional financial services have been subjected to the dynamic and frequently misunderstood industry of cryptocurrency. The financial services sector has always been characterized by strict regulations, thorough oversight, and stringent rules for the sake of investor protection. Attorney General James's proposition to extend the same rigors to the world of cryptocurrency demonstrates a recognition of crypto's growing influence and the need for a regulatory structure. Furthermore, these regulations could set a precedent, serving as a guiding light for other states and countries grappling with the challenges of regulating this new age form of currency. Although the implications of these regulations are yet to be seen, one thing is certain: their impact could potentially influence how other states and countries approach cryptocurrency regulation in the future. As such, the world looks on with bated breath, keen to observe the changes this might bring about in the global financial landscape. Economists are offering fresh takes on inflation, inequality, and technology, highlighting significant tax problems posed by cryptocurrencies. Their analyses derive from a multitude of perspectives, shedding new light on the intricate web of global financial systems. Inflation, a common concern among economists, is now viewed through a different lens. This lens captures the unequal distribution of wealth, a problem that is integral to the socio-economic fabric of the world. A noteworthy aspect that economists have started to ponder on is the impact of technology on the economy. They are scrutinizing how rapid technological advancements can either exacerbate or mitigate financial inequality. These advancements, especially in the realm of cryptocurrencies, have created complex tax-related issues. Economists are grappling with the question of how to effectively tax digital assets and its implications on the global financial structure. The role of these digital currencies has also sparked intense debate among economists, especially considering their volatile nature and the potential to disrupt traditional banking systems. All these considerations are shaping the future of economic policies at both national and international levels. The perspective from the International Monetary Fund could potentially influence global financial policies and the future of digital assets. Their take on these issues could shape how the world approaches these challenges, redefining the financial landscape for the years to come. The European Union has adopted a regulatory framework for crypto assets and crypto asset service providers for the first time. This bold step marks a significant milestone in the evolving relationship between government bodies and the burgeoning crypto industry. The decision has come at a time when cryptocurrencies and other digital assets are gaining increased prominence across the globe. Governments and regulatory bodies worldwide have been grappling with the challenges and opportunities presented by this relatively new asset class. The rise in popularity of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others has led to a surge in the market, attracting investors and startups alike. Furthermore, the potential for these digital assets to disrupt traditional financial systems has sparked intense debates among policymakers. Crypto assets and their service providers previously operated in a regulatory grey area, offering services across borders without explicit legal oversight. This development has caused some consternation among traditional financial institutions and governments, given the potential for misuse in areas like money laundering and tax evasion. With the EU's recent decision, it's clear that they're taking a proactive approach to address these concerns. By implementing a regulatory framework for the first time, they're showing a willingness to embrace the potential of these digital assets, while also ensuring they're used responsibly and ethically. This move could potentially reshape the crypto industry by bringing these entities under a regulatory framework. It sets a precedent and sends a clear message to the rest of the world that crypto assets and their service providers are here to stay and will be governed by established regulations. The stances adopted by regulatory bodies, particularly the US Senate, can shape the growth trajectory, adoption rate, and mainstream acceptance of digital assets, impacting markets worldwide. At the forefront of shaping these trajectories are the powerful regulatory bodies, playing a pivotal role in determining the future of digital assets. Among these institutions, the US Senate holds notable sway, with its decisions echoing far beyond the borders of the United States. Their decisions and policies often set the tone for the global direction of the digital assets market. This influence is due to the US economy's enormous leverage and the country's pioneering role in technological innovation. As a result, their regulatory framework for digital assets can significantly impact the direction of the global market. The implications of the US Senate's regulatory stances resonate within international markets, causing ripple effects that can either stimulate or stagnate the adoption rate of digital assets. Of these dynamics can help or hinder the mainstream acceptance of these revolutionary financial instruments. The mainstream acceptance of digital assets is a global phenomenon, and the influence of the US Senate's regulatory stances extends to shaping this worldwide trend. The Senate's decisions can either encourage or dissuade other nations from creating their own regulatory frameworks for digital assets. The global impact of US regulatory stances could potentially influence how other countries approach the regulation of digital assets. By creating a climate conducive for innovation and growth, the US Senate can undoubtedly catalyze the worldwide acceptance and expansion of digital assets. The new CEO of Binance has shared insights into the exchange's future following a landmark $4.3 billion settlement with United States authorities. As the news broke out, the world of cryptocurrency took notice, eagerly anticipating the ripple effects this major event would have on the landscape of digital assets. Binance, a name that has been synonymous with innovation, security, and growth in the cryptocurrency realm, occupies a position of unrivaled significance. Known for its wide range of offered cryptocurrencies and exceptional service, it has established itself as a giant not only in size, but in influence. With the recent settlement, the global audience and the financial markets are keeping a watchful eye on the possible repercussions on the crypto world. The CEO, a seasoned veteran in the industry, has navigated the rough waters of regulations and legal challenges with composure and strategic finesse. The settlement, he suggests, is not a setback, but a step forward in consolidating the exchange's position in the market. As a symbol of a new era in the crypto industry, this event signifies the maturing of the digital currency market in the face of regulations. The future of Binance, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, could potentially influence the overall direction of the crypto industry. This could modify the way we view and trade digital currencies, redefining the contours of a world driven by blockchain. To navigate this complex world, one must keep pace with these changes, the future of cryptocurrency being written with each passing moment, and those who stay informed have the best chance of anticipating and adapting to these changes. Being part of the crypto community means being on the forefront of technological and financial evolution. Stay tuned for more updates from the ever-evolving world of cryptocurrency.